5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. Phenomena. Tiptoe through the tulips with me.
You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to...
This one's explosive.
That's right. We're here to chill the mind and wake the soul. Find the truth and fill the hole.
You're listening to another Talk Supernatural Radio. We're truthcasting live from the UK to the US, up north to down under, Rhode Island to Easter Island, and Truth Consequences, New Mexico to Hell for Certain, Kentucky. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's Hell for Certain, Kentucky.
That's crazy cities.
Crazy.
If you're listening, you're right where you're supposed to be. I'm Heidi Linden.
We all know that I am the one, in the one, by the one, for the one is here. And once again, we're bringing you the most daunting reality. Facts, experiences, stories, and the food for thought.
You mean
Is
Scott?
that intense?
Yeah, I was going to say, Scott, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Oh, it's TGIF. Love the weekends. It's podcast night. It just feels different on the weekends. Like when Saturday comes.
It always feels like Friday.
No. Well, yeah, because you know the weekend's coming. Most people don't have to work. And
most people, not me.
Oh, that's okay. And guess what's happening in 2 hours?
What is happening, Heidi Linden?
Well, months ago, we let everyone know that we tape for a paranormal TV show, and it is airing tonight.
A comedy tonight.
No, it's not a comedy.
Oh. Well, we'll be on, we, as in me and the one next to me.
Oh, I got excited.
No, you weren't going to get it. No, you weren't going to get it. Anyways, we're going to be on Paranormal Survivor. It's on Destination America, and it's airing at 10 p.m. Eastern.
So you guys can check it out.
Check it out.
So in 2 hours, that's going to be...
I'm not sure if I had my hair done that day, but still.
And I think that for those of you who are listening and you end up missing it or not being able to watch it, it's probably going to be up on YouTube in a couple days, and we'll have it up on our website. If you're not
listening, then you won't know any of this. Duh.
They took a part of my book, Daughter of Siva, and they did a segment on it. We haven't seen it, so I hope it goes well.
Yeah.
Yeah. We never know with TV, so we'll see.
It's season 2.
Episode 5.
Episode 5, yeah. It's entitled Possessed. We're going to put up a link on our website for it so you guys will know when we want to.
Yeah. It'll be up in a couple days, though.
Couple days, yeah. Couple days.
You gotta wait.
Couple days Central Time.
But tonight,
we
are going to talk about...
Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on.
Yay.
Yay. I know, that was me. Sounds good, doesn't it?
With the scarves and all. I've got all the scarves tied around the mic.
Dream on, dream on.
Plato once said, "Those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed by the masses." It's a common belief that dreams are when, during sleep, the mind producing a series of images, ideas, and emotions, sensations that occur usually involuntarily. And I say usually because there's some who feel that they can control their dreams.
That's right.
So.
We're going to explore if they are more. A bridge to the spiritual side, perhaps.
We did plenty of detailed...
Savvy love.
Oh, yeah. You're so crazy.
Please, hand me my effects.
Okay, can I go on?
Sure.
Jack? Captain Jack, sorry. So a while back we did episode 25, and that was on dreams. That was more detailed about different types of dreams. If you guys want to check that one out, we talked about REM sleep, lucid dreaming,
Lucid dreaming.
nightmares versus night terrors. But tonight we're going to expand on dreams themselves. Just a little
Expansion of dreams.
nice.
We're even going to interpret some dreams that were sent to us via email.
And video.
And video. And we got some great submissions.
Yeah, what's with it?
I don't know. Why not? I didn't do it yet.
They're scary dreams.
You're not getting scary? What?
Scary.
I'm going to interpretate some dreams. I was running through a field of flowers.
No, we definitely
And a
didn't.
unicorn was chasing me.
A
butterfly landed on my head. No.
No.
That's not what we're going to be talking about.
No.
We'll get down and dirty, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you can do your then,
I
I
was
guess.
levitating above the fiery pits of hell.
Something like that, yeah. We got a couple of interesting ones, which we'll get into later.
I like to expand things a little bit, make things a little more interesting, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But, yeah, did you know that scientists say it is impossible for us not to dream? They say we dream about 90 minutes a night.
Which is
We
crazy.
just don't remember it.
That's
half the time
wild.
or most of the time. But it doesn't mean subconsciously we don't.
Right, yeah. Subconscious will hold that and
Hold it. And that's why often I take a day or two here and there, once a month. I just sit down and I explore the subconscious, man.
You do.
I get deep inside and I just absorb the subconscious and bring to reality what went on in my sleep. Helps me realize how lucky and fortunate I am in this realm. But it doesn't mean I'm afraid not to explore the other realm. Like realm jumping. Like to do it. Fun. Try it. Go.
you do that? You explore your subconscious and all that?
What do you think I do on Wednesdays?
Okay, as long as you're not doing it when you're in the bathroom. Okay, so,
That didn't even sound right. Keep going.
part of the fart.
No, just go with your stuff. You're just getting off
Okay.
course again. I don't know why.
I don't
Why
get off
can't
course.
you just stay focused on
I
what
am-
goes on?
I am
You know, we
focused.
do
I'm
these
focused
things.
on what's going
No,
on.
you're not. You're talking
Yeah.
about the fart. Yeah, I mean, that's dumb.
That's not dumb.
We're way too old to be talking about that. That's a 12-year-old thing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I'll remember that next time
Okay.
you do something stupid.
That'll never happen.
Oh, that always happens. So
Never. When
I'm
it
going to
was,
start
that's
keeping a
never happened.
log.
You know what I'm talking about.
There's the onerology, which is, and I don't even think I'm pronouncing it right. I think it's onerology
Yeah, I
or
don't know.
something.
It's a weird
is
word.
the study of dreams.
Yeah, and they do all these intense tests and research on the brain and the body while people are sleeping.
And that's cool and all, but that's just brain activity and what the body does while we're sleeping, right? But what about the spirit and the soul? And, I always say it, we're spiritual beings housed in physical bodies, and obviously we need our body and our brain to function, but we really need our soul to live.
Yes. So just to clarify, the spirit and the soul are two completely different things. Every day we see our physical form, which for me is an awesome sight. Our bodies, we are
Shadowed by his ego in the mirror.
we are a living soul that is our true being, and that soul has a spirit, a living aspect to the soul.
Okay.
So, spirit is,
I get it.
As far as dreams, they can be exciting, bizarre, confusing, and they can be scary. There's reoccurring ones and ones that seem so stinking real.
Have you ever had a dream that has seemed real?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I've had... I don't think there's anybody out there that could say they haven't, but, we've all had dreams where you wake up wondering for a bit, did that just happen, or is that going to happen, or has that happened,
Yeah.
or, oh my goodness, you're really scared because it seems that real. And there's a reason for that. There's reasons for everything. Nothing is a mistake.
When I was promoting this episode, one of the things I said was that I'm not a huge dreamer, but when I do dream, they're like crazy intense, and I know that there's more to it. Like I can wake up and say that was something spiritual versus, oh, I just had, too much eggnog before bed or something. Because everybody
What?
had Christmas. I'm thinking of Christmas.
Eggnog?
Eggnog has so much junk in it that it has sugar and it'll make you dream crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's a scientific fact or what?
That's a Heidi fact 101.
What are you doing? I'm having some eggnog.
I want to dream.
Oh, boy.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, some scientists say that for sure, they can't say for sure why we dream, right? Or what our dreams mean. They say our dreams are just stories and images that our brain makes up. They can happen anytime. Like, there's different stages of sleep,
Right.
but your dreams can happen at any of the stages. But they say that the real, like, the ones that we can remember happen in the deep REM sleep.
Okay.
So,
well, it's the scientists. I mean, we all have to listen to them because they're always so accurate.
well, yeah, okay.
You know.
Well, sometimes they're right, sometimes they're not. Sometimes I think they have a little bit of truth, and then they're maybe off a little bit about something else. So it's hard to pick and choose what they're right about, what they're not.
Some researchers say that dreams have no purpose or meaning, and that they are irrational activities of a resting brain.
I don't believe that. There's a reason for everything that our body does, except the what is the gallbladder? No, not the gallbladder. Everybody knows it. We need the gallbladder.
Gallbladder.
What's the thing you
Appendix?
get? Yes, the appendix. I know we need it, but when people get rid of it, there's nothing happens. And what's the throat thing that you get out?
The tongue?
No. The throat thing. Our kids had them out.
Tonsils.
Tonsils.
Yeah.
You really don't need those, do you?
Well, as we discussed the other day, as we get older and we keep losing body parts, all these things in our bodies had a very good purpose, but because of all the junk we ingest and take in, the air, the water, the food, and all the junk that's in our society, a lot of these systems in our body are not working the way they were designed to work. Not because God screwed up, because man screwed up with what we intake. And these systems no longer work right because of the sludge in our bodies.
Yeah.
And it's even for people who eat healthy, because even those who eat very healthy, it's very difficult to get really super healthy food because you can only afford so much organic stuff. It's just
And there's
expensive.
so much junk in our air.
Right. So, I believe that's why some of these things, why does our appendix don't work? Why don't we need these things?
Off on a little side note,
Really?
A little tangent, but this is sort of related. We had mentioned last week about that small city in Michigan 2 weeks
Flint.
ago. Flint. No,
Yeah.
well, when we talked about it, this was before it was even in the news.
Yeah.
It was our first episode on the conspiracy stuff.
It's a conspiracy, man.
And we talked about, my friend that lived in that small town in Michigan. And then the following week, we sort of mentioned it again. And right around that time, it came out in the news. I was like, whoa. But I heard a story today on the news
I've seen something on
about that little boy.
I didn't read it all, but I do hear there is some sort of...
There's poisoning, lead in the water.
Right.
And it's so bad that the pipes are corroding and that water's coming through and it's poisoning people. Well, there's these 4-year-old twin boys, and the one boy is like 20-some pounds less than his brother. And they got him tested because they were like, why? After a year, he hasn't grown. What's wrong with him? They tested him, and he's at a 6.5 of lead poisoning. And they said, well, what's the norm for lead? She said, there is no. You should have 0 in your system. And this kid has 6.5, and it has stunted his growth. And he's got all the signs of lead poisoning just from drinking the water. Isn't that crazy?
No, I didn't read that yet.
Yeah.
I just knew that there was somebody to blame or something. There was things going on with all that.
So I don't know what the deal is, but we're praying for Flint, Michigan, because they really need a good water source. Their water's messed up. But we were just talking about needing body parts and everything being messed up by what we eat, and we were talking about conspiracy last week, and then so I just want to bring that up. All right. So anyways, side note, back.
Why are you so small? I had some water.
Oh, don't drink water; it's bad for you, man.
Drink water, man.
Well, anyways, about scientists and stuff saying that dreams are like irrational parts of our brain that we don't need, that just sounds stupid because it's been proven that during the deep stages of REM sleep, the body repairs and regrows tissues, and it builds bone and muscle, and it strengthens the immune system. And then there were also these studies done where people were woke up right before they were about to dream, and they had these the brainwave tests, so they knew right when they were about to dream, so they'd be woken up. And the day after, these people experienced increased tension, anxiety, depression, difficulty concentrating, and lack of coordination. So it seems that dreaming is good for our bodies, and that's probably why we all dream, even though we don't remember it.
It's a fact that the prefrontal cortex, which is the region of the brain that is logic, is barely active when dreaming, and that's what also allows us to interact with the dreams without actually thinking about it.
Is that so?
Yes.
You're so smart.
Well, I study these things quite intensely.
Smart is sexy. Geeky is sexy. I like it. Well, logic will get you from A to Z, but when you shut your mind, you start to explore A to Z. So you've got the physical aspect of getting to A to Z, and then you've got the spiritual aspect. You know me, I'm always leaning towards the spiritual thing. Our brain produces a chemical called...
And I always go towards conspiracy. Dreaming is a conspiracy.
It could be. You never know.
Against the mind, man.
Who's doing it? They're zapping our brains?
They're zapping us. It's aliens, dude. I'm telling you.
It could be.
I just come down up out of the sky, and I just zap your brain. That's the end of it right there. You never know what's going to happen. Little green guys marching around.
I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, actually. That was my... Maybe we'll talk about that next week.
We could talk about crime travel, and we could talk about aliens. Both are very real.
Yes, and part of dreams, right? Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so our brain produces a chemical called... let's see, dimethyltriotam, and that's what makes us dream.
Oh, dimethyltriotam?
Yes, that's okay. Yeah.
I'm well aware of that. Thank you.
This has even been made synthetically. They call it the dream drug. And I have no doubt that our body has to work a certain way for our minds to open up involuntary images. But that action is what allows us to connect to the spirit realm, too. So some people use it to go into a dream state. They want to experience, so they'll use this drug. I don't know, like if it's like the street drug where you can get it. Hey, man, you got some of the dream drug.
Dream drug, yeah, man.
I don't know how that works, but they got the bongs going. Jeez,
you do it. I just want to dream, brother.
Just leave me
alone.
alone.
Keep doing that, you're going to be dreaming permanently.
So a lot of people do it to lucid dream. When we discussed this in episode 25, where the dreamer is aware that they're in a dream state and it can influence it while it's happening. You've had a dream like that before where you're like, and in my dream I'm like, I know I'm dreaming.
Yeah. There's been several times I've had dreams and I'm aware that I am dreaming. I'm like
common.
Sitting there thinking to myself, okay, this is a dream, but this doesn't make sense in the dream, or I should be doing this, or why is this happening? And it's a weird sensation. It's like being there and not being there.
I've had dreams like that where I've been like attacked or I'm being stabbed with a knife and I'm about to have this total fear of death, and then it says this is just a dream, it's not going to hurt, and I'm being stabbed and I watch myself going, even though I should be frightened, I'm just like, I'm okay, this is just a dream. So I've had dreams like that.
I had one dream a couple years ago. I remember telling you about this, and it was such an awesome dream. I was dreaming that I could fly. It wasn't just so much flying as it was almost like God was showing me how to fly. And once he showed me how easy it was, when I woke up, I had a hard time getting it out of my mind that there's no reason I should not be able to fly. Even when I was completely conscious, the thought in my process, in my sleep, was that I was so sure of what I had been taught in my dream that I was like, even though it was rational and I was awake, I was like, why shouldn't I be able to do this?
Is that why you went out and got that Superman cape? I knew it. I knew it.
But it was weird because and even long after that, weeks after that, I was so sure of the idea that there's no reason I shouldn't. It was like a leap of faith type things. Mm-hmm. It was all about, you just have to do it type thing. It was in the dream, and even in my awake state, I was like, all I really have to do is just do this, and it'll work.
Huh.
And it's, even today, it's in my mind. I'm thinking, I know, but it wasn't like you had to jump off of anything.
You could just take off.
It was just start running and take off and stick your arms up and go. It was not like you had to flap or do all this crazy stuff. It was just like, no, you just got to do it.
So I come home from the grocery store and you're in the yard running, trying to take off.
You think about this. When Jesus was walking across the water and then the storm in the boat.
Right.
That's great and all, but Peter also stepped out. Mm-hmm. And Peter was walking on water for a minute or two.
Until
he realized, oh no, I'm walking on water. But what God was really saying is, see, it's really your mind over matter. You can walk on water.
Always.
We know Jesus can walk on water, and because Jesus knows he can walk on water because he created it. But, Peter, you can do this too. Come here. Keep your eyes focused, and you can just walk. And so with that whole mind process, I'm thinking, and why can't I fly? Forget about the science of it all, just like the science of Peter walking on water. Mm-hmm. Ridiculous. There's no science saying that Peter could walk on water, yet it happened. So why can't I fly?
True.
I mean, I know I can't fly.
Because our minds shut us down.
Our minds shut us down. So I don't know. But I just remember that out of all the dreams I've had, that's one in particular that has stuck with me. Just like...
That's cool.
So confident when I woke up, like, yeah, that'll work. I mean...
But...
yeah, I know. What do you say to it?
We kick in, our physical kicks in, and we're like, no. Well, people, when
that's why I've been dieting. I think that's what's holding me down.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll tie you some balloons off the cliff of Lake Michigan. We'll see what happens. With the lucid dreaming, people really practice this. They go into this deep meditation, and or sometimes they'll take a drug, sometimes they do different mantras with different things, and they try to put themselves, and people do, put themselves in a dream state. They train their mind into this extreme thing, but I'm wondering if it's dangerous because, we don't have any knowledge of what we're doing. We know what books tell us, but we really don't have any full knowledge of the spirit realm. So when we're doing this, it's almost like, using a Ouija board or something because we don't really know where our mind's going. And in past episodes, we've told stories of friends who used to meditate and stuff, and they went to a weird spiritual place and had nothing to do with LSD, but, nothing like that.
Or LDS.
Yeah. Yeah, LDS. But you know what I always thought? If you're in your dream, right, and you're in this lucid dreaming, mark your hand in your dream and see if you wake up and you have a mark on your hand or something, like, I don't know, with your nail or something.
Whoa, that's how I got that haircut.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Okay. Research has shown that parts of the brain that are normally suppressed during sleep have increased stimulation during lucid dreaming.
Whoa. Like, they awake. They're more awake. Their brain is more active.
Yes.
And that's connected to spirit travel. A lot of people say that they have these out-of-body experiences. And some people do it to connect or explore, experience spirit realms.
Oh,
yeah, out-of-body.
Well, have you ever dreamed, and I have, ever dreamed where... you can see yourself in the dream, and you're like...
Yeah.
And I remember one time, that was a long time ago, in my early 20s, dreaming that
like
I
yesterday?
Died.
Early 20s?
Yeah.
Weren't you in your early 20s?
When I died in my dream. It was weird. I'm not going to go into it all. We got other things to do. But it was like, I remember looking down at me, and I was kind of like almost angry, and I looked at myself like, you're pathetic. As I died, I got killed by a Japanese Zero. Forget about all the details. But the point is,
okay.
But the point is I was looking down on myself. Really, that's all it took to kill you? That's all you got? I remember looking disgusted at myself, like, "Wow, you weak thing!" in my dream, and it really, really stuck with me. I mean, here we are, a few years later, and
yeah.
And I can remember it very clearly. Very clearly.
Well, I've had dreams like that where I dream of something, and when I wake up, I'm so angry, and I'm carrying those emotions over with me, and it's just like I can't shake it for quite a while. Yeah. Unless I go to Dunkin' Donuts and get a coffee, and then I'm good. But they said that Abraham Lincoln dreamt of his own funeral, walking into his own funeral and everything, and he knew he was going to be assassinated because he heard them talking about it at his funeral in his dream. So he was already aware he was going to be, because he said it was a dream, but he knew it was like a prophecy. He knew it was more because it was very real to him.
Right.
So you never know. And he was heavily involved with the occult. They did seances, him and his wife.
Oh, yeah.
And,
there's lots of stuff you don't know about
the
great leaders of this world, man.
I think that's why his room's the haunted room in the White House. Oh. Okay, so Douglas H. Everett said that there are some people who live in a dream world, and then there are some who face reality. And then there are those who can turn one into the other.
I totally agree.
Yeah. I do too.
I'll tell you what happened this one time.
Okay, I want to hear this. Am I going to believe this?
So anyways, I met up with the Dalai Lama. I said, for all the things I do, how about a little something, my way? A little something for me, for, He says, okay. He says, Kala Kalagunga. He says, upon your deathbed, you shall regain total consciousness. So I got that going for me.
I have tears in my eyes right now. I'm trying to compose myself. You are ridiculous. I love that movie. I haven't. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm good. So, anyways, let's talk about some facts. Do you know? Kalagunga. Okay, you know, like when you see those babies and they got these like abnormally large heads, and you're like, "Oh, is my baby cute?" And you're like,
Not really.
Yeah, like for an X-Files episode, maybe. Sure. But, you know, they have those big brain proportions, right? Well, some people, scientists and stuff, say that their brains, babies' brains, are smarter than our brains at that point because they haven't been corrupted or tainted by the world, and they've picked up on everything they've heard and experienced.
Oh.
You know, and then it gets drowned out as they get older and tainted or whatever. So I thought that was an interesting fact. And then there's a lot of evolutionists who think dreaming is an evolutionary technique, of course.
Of course.
Where we practice threatening scenarios in our sleep. And this has helped humanity survive all these years. So when we dream, it's our subconscious, and we're practicing scenarios. I haven't practiced anything in my dreams. Like, my dreams are never about being a warrior or, you know, dealing with 4 kids when they're crabby or, you know. So I don't know what that whole thing's about.
It's said that the blind have heightened senses during dreaming. And could that be true then for the spiritual sense? And that's why they have more nightmares?
Well, blind people dream with sounds, and they have a lot more nightmares. So, maybe? You think? I don't know.
I wonder...
What?
Yeah, I think there's been...
I'm not blind, so I don't understand.
There's been a few people who have actually were literally blind and then were able to see.
Right.
For whatever reason. And I think... I'd have to research that out some more, but that they didn't... They couldn't dream. The ones that were blind always didn't have any visual thing
it was
because
more like
the brain
sound.
had nothing to visually see.
Right. So does the brain imagine things in their own head? You know, that's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
I want to meet a blind person who's not blind anymore.
Yeah.
I want to ask them.
I was blind, but now I see.
12% of people dream in black and white.
But now I walk.
You walk?
I walk.
You walk.
Yay.
You cook Chinese food?
Though I walk through the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil.
Can I go on
What?
with my dream facts?
Yeah.
Okay. 12% people dream in black and white. Did you know that? But this is cool.
They're probably old
Well, funny you'd say that.
before they have color.
Did you read my notes?
No.
How'd you know that? Yeah.
What?
Scientists think the type of TV we watch as a child determines what we dream.
Oh, no, I didn't read
They
that.
said that people 55 and older dream in black and white. And people 25 and younger are all colored. I don't know about in between, but they think that the type of TV we watched when we were little, and they obviously didn't have color TV way back when. So, well,
that our minds kind of think of when we visually see something that, like, it was like when we watch something, then we always watched it in black and white.
Yeah.
And that's how we think.
and I totally believe that too, because like
I wonder what happens to people that grew up in the 80s with the old 2-head VCRs after recording it, and you watch it 6 times, and everything's all grainy. Is that how you dream?
It could be. That's why I'm like, I want to rewind. I want to go back.
People try to listen, are singing in their head, and they got the old 8 tracks from the 60s and the 70s. After the track starts wearing out, and you can hear all 4 tracks at one time.
I don't even know what that means because I didn't.
You try to hear a
have an
song,
eight-track.
and you can hear the song on the other track, and the other track,
What?
and the other track at all the same time as it wears out.
Really?
You can hear lightly. You can hear the other songs on the other track, and so you could just click the button because you're like, oh, I want to hear that song. It's on the second track. You go to the second track
never
because you
had
could hear
8-track.
it was
I don't
coming
know
on.
when
Yeah,
you're-
I did. Yeah.
Oh, I hope we have old listeners because I'm like confused. I'm like, I didn't know that.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know. Okay, so Japanese scientists are in the first stages of a dream reading machine. It's this intricate computer, and it reads what is it, algorithms. It's a learning program that is able to match visualizations with corresponding activity. They're hoping it's going to help with coma victims.
Okay.
Which is so neat.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll
There's
ever
a lot
work.
of things that go on with coma victims.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes they'll say that, hey, you do need to come and talk to this person and stuff, because a lot of times when these people, if they come out, and they do come out, they recall things that were being said to them, and that it helped them. Yeah. And that, it kept a reality for them, kept them, like, checked in, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. But, with this whole machine thing, this total red flag for me, because future studies, they want to inject electrodes deep into the brain of the people, and they want to read the neurons. Oh, yeah. So I don't know.
I'm into neuron reading, man.
You wouldn't let somebody inject stuff in your brain?
They can put anything in my brain you want, but they ain't gonna find any room because this baby's full.
Oh, my word. All right. So we know that some people get sleep paralysis. And in our work, we've seen that linked to hauntings and spiritual oppression and occult use a lot. Our son even had it. So sleep experts say that we dream in the REM stage, but our bodies become almost paralyzed in that stage. And, I've seen people dream, and they move. So I don't believe this whole paralysis.
But you and I, which I don't know if we're going to get into this. I think we got into this from that one episode of Dreaming where you and I discovered after had dated for a while. Yeah. And that we both had childhood nightmare that was almost identical.
And so real.
And so frightful. And that just mentioning it was able, I don't know who mentioned which one first, but whatever, we were both like, click. Oh, I know that dream.
And this is not a typical dream either. This is something
it doesn't even really make
real detailed and odd and bizarre.
It's odd and bizarre and doesn't make sense at all, and we don't even know what it means. But it's just weird for us to meet and have this similar nightmare recurring. Yeah. Not often, but enough. Yeah. Or and you never forget it.
Also, too, I think it's definitely a spiritual dream because of the contents of the dream. And then that makes me think, being, this whole spiritual thing that I am, I think that we are all destined.
I think you're an alien.
I thought you were.
You are.
Okay. And so I'm thinking that maybe we were destined to be together. God knows where we're going to be in the future. Why? You're going to crack some joke. I can see your face. Don't even go there. I'm going to slap you on air. Bam.
You're my destiny.
Density.
Density.
You're my density.
You're my density.
I knew you were going to go there. That's what I think. So, yeah, that's true. And, some people do have the same dreams. Like I mentioned, I think last week, I had a friend in high school who, that night before she picked me up from school, I dreamt that I was in a boat driving down the street. And when we got in the car, she said, I had the weirdest dream about you, that we were the opposite. We were in a boat in a car driving on the water. And
right.
It was just so weird.
The other one was like, in a boat on the road or something.
Yeah. Like, what does that mean? I don't get it. So
just weird. Yeah. Right.
Okay. Well, anyways, so they're using this physical reasoning behind sleep paralysis because it's a phenomenon they can't figure out. So they're just going to chalk something up and throw it in that category because, they're so smart, but when they can't figure something out, they worry. They're like, oh, we got to find something.
I've got to find an answer. Yeah. People believe us. So how can this be a physical reaction? Almost all the experienced sleep paralysis night terrors, they say this. They say they feel extreme fear. They encounter a scary, dark figure or a creature in the room with them. Have sore muscles after. Sometimes there's odd marks. They'll feel heaviness on their chest, and it can happen one or more times in their lifetime. Or has happened, or will happen, or can happen, might happen.
So those things are more spiritual than physical. Right. I mean...
Well, if you think you're sleeping and you wake up, and I know, we won't go into all my stuff, but that one, you remember when I had that nightmare, and I actually ended up going into the doctor because I physically could almost not move. My entire body went into...
And he said there's nothing wrong with you.
I've never experienced this in my entire life. Every square inch of my body hurt. My teeth hurt. My ears hurt. My nose hurt. My arms, my legs,
Were
my
you
joints,
actually
my
dreaming,
back.
or was it more of a spiritual attack, or both?
It was a spiritual attack.
But were you dreaming before you woke up?
No, I don't have recollection recognition, whatever. I don't remember it at all. But I woke up, literally felt like I had really gotten in a major brawl or fight or everything. My eyebrows hurt. Everything hurt. There was not a square inch of me that did not hurt.
That's
my
so weird.
hair hurt. To touch my head or move my hair. Remember, I couldn't even walk.
Yeah.
And there was nothing wrong with me.
He scooted down the stairs on his butt because he was in so much pain. I remember.
I remember, and I went in, and it took a good solid day and a half for it to go away, and they said, there's nothing wrong with you.
Well, I think that was a spiritual thing, definitely. So,
But there you go. There's a whole physical aspect to a
Right.
spiritual dream.
Yep.
Or a spiritual attack, so... Okay. Explain that, Science 101. Yeah.
It's also common...
I was paralyzed, dude!
Sleep paralysis is also common with people who are supposedly have mental illness, too. And as, we've talked about, mental illness is 9 times out of 10 connected to some kind of occult use and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they don't have something physically wrong with their brain or chemical imbalance, but there is still a tie to occult use in their family, generational curses, things like that. So now the first clinical observation of sleep paralysis was made by a Dutch physician in 1664. He diagnosed a 50-year-old woman with what they called a nightmare, night and then the word mare. It was believed to be caused by demons or spiritual possession. But in the 19th century, it was termed sleep palsy and then eventually sleep paralysis. Okay. So back then, before all this science stuff, they chalked it up to spiritual stuff, So, and now it's sort of going back around, and I think it's split. Some people believe it's spiritual. Some people believe it's physical. I don't know. Now, sleepwalking. You used to sleepwalk, you said, right? Yeah. Doctors say it occurs when our body's natural defense fails during sleep. But defense against what? It's like what are you defending against?
Right. On record, there are sleepwalking occurrences like jumping from a building to their death.
Oh.
That's kind of a one-time dream. Splat. Having sex with strangers.
We won't do the
Hope
sound
they're
effects
protected. Yeah. God, really?
Sorry.
Burning down their house, paintings, even murder. Example: Brian Thomas from Britain strangled his wife to death in his sleep. He said he was dreaming, and she was an intruder.
And now a lot of people would say, "Oh no, he's faking or whatever." But he was found innocent because of his history of violent sleepwalking and night terrors. The judge ruled that his mind wasn't in control of his body while attacking. So, no more science
But a lot
than
of
that.
good things came out of dreams, too.
Yep.
Inventions like the X-ray machine. How about the sewing machine?
That's not a good invention. I'm not.
It is for those who know how to use it.
I hate sewing. Just go buy something
You
new.
shouldn't have to hate something you don't do.
Oh, I don't do it because I hate it. I've
Because
done
you
it.
don't do it.
I've done it, and I hate it. I hate it.
When did you do it?
I mean, who wants to make a whole outfit with a stupid little needle, and then, okay, we'll put it in a machine, and then it takes you like 10 hours to try and thread the machine, and then you find out the machine's threaded wrong, and you mess everything up, and then you have this beautiful dress pattern, and you end up, and it looks like galoshes from the 40s. So, sewing machines suck. That's a dumb invention. Go ahead. Just go to Walmart and buy a shirt.
The theory of relativity by Einstein. How about insulin? There's a big one.
Yeah.
The periodic table, which I happen to use most of the time. Google,
buy a dream.
And Paul McCartney said he wrote yesterday after hearing it in a dream, which would have been tomorrow.
Whoa, that's deep.
When he did it.
Yeah? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That throws me away.
Whoa. Yesterday.
All
my troubles came so far away.
That's not even how it goes.
I don't believe I remember yesterday.
Okay, speaking of the Beatles, in
I am old. Oh,
in 1974, John Lennon wrote a song called Number 9 Dream. He said it came from a dream, including these unknown words that sound like tongues. Speaking in tongues, it's pretty creepy. Some call this song as psychedelic, but I say it's supernatural. Okay, so here's some of the lyrics. I'm going to play a little clip for you, but I want to. Some of the lyrics of the song is, "Thought I could hear somebody call my name." Right, you hear that a lot. "Music touching my soul, something warm, suddenly cold. Two spirits dancing so strange." And then, while this is going on, during the song, you hear this eerie female voice in there, and you can't figure out what she's saying. So when you play it backwards, you hear her going, John, John. It's so creepy. And then later you hear, John, by a guy.
Why don't you get out of the bathroom? Give somebody else a chance.
Part of the fart. So I'm just going to play the clip. It's real short, just so you could hear. If you got to listen carefully, though. So the first part of the clip is the song as it is, and then you hear some kind of weird, like, voice. You don't know what they're saying. And then after that section, you hear the song played backwards, and you can distinctly hear someone going, John, John. So check this out.
Music touching my soul. Something wants to touch. The spirit dance was unfolding.
Did you check that out, brother? Let's keep in mind that John Lennon, / the Beatles, practiced the occult and had strong ties to the sick occultist Aleister Crowley.
Now they did a lot of the backwards stuff in their
It was
music.
common for them. They did all that stuff, symbolic stuff. And it was a whole 70s era thing anyways, where different bands would do that.
But
You know.
I'd like to point out, on a spiritual aspect, being investigators of the supernatural, we know that when it comes to the demonic likes to do everything backwards, or opposite, or upside down.
Yep,
so
a little bit different. Yep.
The fact that they were really tied into Aleister Crowley and the occult, and then this weird song where, I mean, he says it came to him in a dream, and then these lyrics, touching his soul, that it was warm and suddenly cold, two spirits dancing so strange. I mean, come on. I mean, hello, it doesn't take a scientist to figure that out. Hello?
What about Santana?
Yep.
In the 1990s, Santana had a big comeback. He said that in his meditation and dreams, he received instructions on what to do. That's why he named his comeback album Supernatural.
Whoa.
Supernatural!
I forgot how that song goes, but it doesn't go like that.
I don't know either.
Now, Carlos Santana told Entertainment Weekly that there's a paranormal relationship between him and Lauryn Hill and Eric Clapton and himself. He said that most of the collaborators on the album told him that they knew they were going to work with him because he was in their dreams.
Whoa.
That's creepy. Now, experts say that musicians dream of music twice as much as other people.
Really? Mm-hmm. That could be because music is like this universal language. And Lucifer was the head of the music ministry, and he can use this to his advantage. And we know that from experience that music, in all aspects, no matter what we do, affects the human body, the soul, the mind. It affects you. You can change a spirit in a room by changing the music.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Totally. So when if you're playing good stuff, you'll usually have good vibes. So. It's true. So if you find yourself being angry all the time, maybe you need to change your music. Certain things.
Sure.
I mean, it could affect you a little bit.
It totally does.
If you're in a really bad mood, well, why don't you put on something that's pleasant? Even if it's not maybe something that you like as much. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just something that is, lyrics are good, it's clean, it's nice. Maybe that will change how you feel a little bit. Why not experiment a little bit in a positive way?
Like
or
when
maybe
we leave
you're
our
too
dog.
happy, and you say, "Wow, I could really go for being a slasher today. I think I'll put on some crud."
Yeah, just like
I don't recommend it though.
When we left our dog, we put on like classical music, and he was all happy and fine in his cage. But then we accidentally left on the 80s station. We came back, and he was like all wearing leg warmers, and
I know.
was
It
crazy.
has hair all spiked. And
yeah,
everything.
so you got to be
beating his
careful.
head against the cage.
Yeah, it was
Going
crazy.
bang your head. That could be because music is like the universal language.
That's what it is.
It is universal.
I agree.
Universally speaking. From my universe to yours.
Now, do evil spirits haunt us in our dreams? There is deceit of dreams. I definitely think a lot of people think, oh, that was my aunt or something, but our experience speaks for themselves, right? In the book of Job, we see how Satan tells God.
We know that a lot of you church-going people, which I hope there's a lot out there, will tell you that Satan cannot enter your dream. But that is not what the Bible says.
Well, whether you believe in God or not, just the whole dream aspect in the Bible is cool. So we're going to talk about that. Yeah, there's a lot of Christians who say that Satan can't come to you in dreams,
Satan can
and that
do
God can't.
anything that God allows him to do.
Just like us. Sure.
So.
In the book of Job, okay, let's see. We see how Satan tells God he's roaming to and from the earth, and in the earth, which means different realms. He's in the different realms. And he torments Job in his dreams. In Job 7, 13 through 14, Job complains to God because he thinks it's God. He says, "When I think my bed will comfort me and my couch will ease my complaint, even then you frighten me with dreams and terrify me with visions." And we know that God wasn't doing this. We know that the devil had access to him because God had a plan, a purpose. So God was allowing Satan to do this to Job.
And then something not of God speaks to a friend of Job.
In Job 4.
Yeah. For to relay a dark and false message to him. This friend says this, "Now a thing was secretly brought to me, in thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep falleth on men. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still. An image was before my eyes, and I heard a voice."
Now, if we look at some of these words, what he says, does this not coincide with some people's dreams where he says, okay, so they're having visions of the night, okay, deep sleep falleth on men, which is obviously the REM sleep or whatever, okay, a spirit passes before my face. Who hasn't? I'm sure most people have felt something, they've seen something, a dark image, or they felt something pass before them. The hair on their flesh stood up. Like people say that when they feel a spirit or whatever, and the hair.
Heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, and your little hairs go, ooh.
Little hair standing up.
And then they hear a voice. Hi. Right? How many people have heard voices, their name called when they're sleeping? I have. Okay, so Job, who was a man of God, he advised this guy to seek God about it, and he too would take that matter to God. So this guy comes to Job and tells him, and he's supposedly a friend of Job, but he really wasn't real set with God. And it was an evil spirit that came to him to give this false message, and Job was like, dude, you go take that to God. That don't sound right, and I'm going to take it to God, and we'll see what God has to say about it.
God is furious with this friend for speaking on his behalf the wrong advice.
Oh, yeah. And God, the wrath. We have to really be careful who we seek out to interpret our dreams and what we think our dreams are. And, the Bible says even Satan can come as an angel of light. Mm-hmm. So sometimes when you think something like an angel, you got to be careful. I'm not saying it's not an angel, but you take it to God. Ask God. God will answer you. He's not going to deny you. Even if you don't believe in God, try it out. You never know.
Yep. Dreams are talked about in the Bible as being supernatural.
Yep.
In Genesis 40:8, some men came to Joseph, who had a gift from God to interpret dreams. And here's what they said. "We have had dreams, and there is no one to interpret them." And Joseph said to them, "Do not the interpretations belong to God? Please tell them to me."
And Joseph, everybody knows Joseph because he had the
right.
colorful coat and everything, but he always was able to interpret dreams. He was just with that gift. And he says, that the dreams belong, or the interpretations belong to God. That doesn't mean that everybody that interprets dreams is getting it from God. He says the interpretations belong to God. Not all interpretations.
And they were giving it, and God gave it to Joseph.
Right. Yep.
Right.
So, and before this episode, yesterday and today, I prayed about this episode because I knew we were going to interpret dreams. And we had talked about this before in the past about doing this episode, and you thought, well, I don't know if that's something God would want because I don't want people to think that we're these, psychic gurus or something. But
speak for yourself. I'm definitely a guru.
I asked God, don't let this episode happen, or, speak to me and tell me you don't want me to interpret dreams. But the purpose is to get people to understand that there's so many spiritual connections when we're dreaming and when our physical's shut down, and we can always tie it back to God. It's a positive thing.
Right. When you're filled with God's Spirit and you have the ability to do all things, if it's God's will.
Yep.
And if it has to do with God, it is supernatural.
Yep.
1 Corinthians 2:13 says, "When we tell you these things, we do not use words that come from human wisdom. Instead, We speak words given to us by the Spirit, using the Spirit's word to explain spiritual truths.
And I wanted you to read that verse because we are going to interpret. We got a lot of, I think there was close to 110 because my inbox went past the limit. So I get 100, and then I think it was like about 110. And some of them were video, and some of them. So unfortunately, we can't do them all. But I promise. But I do promise I am going to answer all of them. I will spend my next couple Saturdays returning those emails and interpreting these dreams. But
we do take this serious. You know, I mean, I know you think I'm just comedy relief, but the truth is, I am the foundation of this podcast.
Oh, my word.
And
part of the fart.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, so we're gonna play one. So what I did was I took the videos that we sent. They were sent in, and then I edited them and put them to audio. Okay, so I took 3 of those, and then we have a couple emails that I'll read, and we'll see what we can get to. So let's do the first one.
And I have a dream that I just want to talk about. So as far as I can remember, it started out where I was in a van, and there was other people in it, and someone else was driving. And then behind the van, there was a rope, and then with it connected a person in a chair, and they were trying to get in the van with me. And I was out the back doors are open, the car was going really, really fast, and I said, stop, slow down, we need to help this person get in. And I was kind of hanging out the back, trying to help the person in, but they wouldn't stop. And then from that dream, it kind of faded out, and it came into another dream which somewhat connected to it, which was I was at this kind of weird tiki Hawaiian beach, but it wasn't as pretty as you would think. It's kind of old and ran down, but nevertheless, I was there, kind of in the center of the lake. There was this patio type thing where you can jump off of into the water and play, and all at once, all these skeletons, really grotesque skeletons, kind of like from the Pirates of the Caribbean, just really ugly and bad, started climbing up onto it, trying to get at me. I started running away, up, down, side to side, everywhere, and they kept following me, and I didn't really know where to go. So that's all I can remember, because this dream was a few years ago, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, first of all I can say is you shouldn't have gotten out of the van.
Yeah, I agree. Well, okay, so let's go to the beginning. She's in the van, and people are being pulled, and she's telling somebody to stop to help them. So obviously she has a nature to help people. She wants to help, but she's not in control of where she's going. Right? So, but her focus is on something else, and she's trying to do good, but she can't because she's not in the driver's seat, more or less. But you can't do both anyways, could you? You couldn't be driving and
Well, in dream world, if you're led by God, you would be in the driver's seat. But so there's a little bit of a warning there. There's a little bit of insight as to where you're going, what you're doing, who's leading you.
Yeah.
You want to help, but you need to help yourself. You need to be in the driver's seat, be able to help yourself, to be able to help others. If you're not where you need to be, it's going to be difficult to help somebody else. So many people in the world, it's like the drug addict helping the drunk. It just don't work.
Not to offend any drug addicts there, drug addicts' lives matter. Okay? So, that's right. Don't want to offend anybody.
Drug addicts' lives matter.
That's right. Okay, now she said that it bridged into the second dream where she was like by this island, but it wasn't like this.
A very nice island.
It was, and then that makes me think wherever this person was taking her to, like when someone says, have you ever like gone on vacation and they tell you in the brochure how awesome it is, and then you get there and
you're like,
and
really?
the pool's got green moss growing on it and gunk and stuff. It's like, oh, this is not what. So maybe this person promised them a place that wasn't, and when they got there, they realized this is a place of the dead. That's what I think. I think it's a spiritual dream. It has to do with where you're going in life spiritually.
Right.
And you got to be careful who's leading you.
Right.
That would be mine.
Amen.
Hallelujah. All right, we got the second one here.
Hi, my name's Noah. Basically, my dream is, it's a reoccurring dream. It's been happening for a very long time, as long as I can actually remember. And it happens about 2 or 3 times a year. My family is all on a roller coaster along with me. It's in third person. I can see myself in the roller coaster. The background is pitch black, but my entire family's on this roller coaster. The roller coaster is red. The sides of the roller coaster are red, the tracks, and then the middle of the track is white. And basically, my family just starts falling off this roller coaster until there's no one else to fall off. And it actually happened in a way that my grandfather passed away, and then my grandmother passed away, and my grandmother passed away first. I remember her distinctly falling off first, and then my grandfather falling off of the roller coaster. But I don't know who falls off past that. And then I kind of jump out of the dream, and it's always really weird. It's like almost like a lucid dream where I know I'm having the dream. So it's pretty weird.
So he said in his dream that in order of the people that fell off the roller coaster, they actually died in real life, that order. His grandma and then his grandpa.
I'd say stay away from Six Flags.
No. Yeah.
A roller coaster in general is usually
life.
not. Yeah, his life and
Ups, downs.
Ups, downs.
But he's so specific. The background was black, and then there was red and white, and that usually makes me think of red. Always seems to do with life and stuff. People think it's bad or blood, but I have interpreted this as like a good thing. The blood of Christ, the red blood, the saving, stay on the roller coaster, stay on the right path type thing.
Yeah.
And people were falling off. Maybe, and did he say it was his family? He was on there with his family, but he doesn't remember. So
who fell off next? But that, as a lot of times in dreams, anytime you're on any type of device, a car, or in the last dream it was a van. This one it's a roller coaster. Other ones it'll be a boat. Boats are common, and often enough it'll be, get out, get off, and it's like actually no. You got to stay for the ride.
Yeah, you got to stay on.
It's part of life. It's part of the ride. And whether that be, going what you think to go down a different path or do something different or change my this or that, and often enough the dream's telling you, no, you need to ride the ride. It's whether it's good or it's bad, it's been designed for you. So you need to stick with it. And in this case, the roller coaster could represent, life. You need to stay the ride and maybe not go down the same way the other ones did. I mean, people
don't
die. That's good. Don't give up.
Yeah, don't jump, don't bail.
That's right.
All right, here's one email. I've had, and a lot of the people wanted to remain anonymous, but this is from Cody R. I've had this dream a few times, at least 5. I dreamt I was in this really big boat during a bad storm. It's on fire, so it's burn or swim. I keep wanting to jump out, but a large hand keeps pulling me back in. There's other people on this boat. I think I know them. I'm not sure. But they're all scared and running around. They start to jump in the water. I know I'm going to die if I stay in, so I climb out. My toes even touch the water sometimes. Not in every dream, though. But the same hand, I can't see the person, pulls me back in. I am so scared on the boat. Then the storm gets so bad, I think the boat is going to tip over, and the water turns real thick, almost like oil. I see people suffocating and drowning in the thick gunk. They disappear. I never get burned or hurt, but I'm watching everyone else die who left. That's when I always wake up. Hope you guys can help. Cody R.
We actually discussed this dream, Cody, while we were eating supper. So... yeah, you were part of our meal appetizer. But this dream is almost like a warning type dream, somewhat of an assistance dream, really. And I don't know what's going on in his life or what's been going on in life or maybe in the history or maybe his family history or what's going on. But right now, once again, it's telling you to ride the ride, stay the course.
Similar. It's a different dream, but it's very similar to that one.
Other people might say, jump out, get out, it looks dangerous, you need to leave. And, you need not to give up, and you need to stay the course. And it's not going to always look pleasant. I mean, there's biblical stories that are extremely similar to this, where it was with Peter. Remember?
No.
I think it was with Peter. He was supposed to, everybody wanted to get out of the boat or something like that. No, stay on, and he did, and the boat did survive.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that the boat was in a shambles, it survived.
Yeah.
The people who went in the water did not. So there's actually a biblical story very much like yours. It always looks easier to bail. It always looks easier to go down this way, do that. And life is always usually the harder path.
Well, you know, like in this dream, he says it's on fire, so it's burn or swim. And sometimes we see everything cut and dry, and we think we only have 2 choices. But who doesn't panic? We
Right.
all panic when we're in situations. But if we can stop, like with me, prayer always works because that's the only thing that can keep me focused. So if you can stop and focus and, you know, think about what's going on, and it's hard to do, obviously, if you're in the middle of something. So I don't know what's going on, but if he's had this dream at least 5 times, he says,
it's definitely
telling him something in general, a story, not a particular situation, but
And really, so this could be something coming up.
sure, yeah,
Coming up because you've had the dream 5 times. Obviously, maybe nothing's really happened yet, but sometimes God has to send you something over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Maybe even for an instance such as this right now, where you're getting some sort of thought and idea. This isn't, that's not where we're giving this super deep meaning, but it's not that deep of a dream. But it's deep enough to give
charge
you
you $9.99 a minute. Okay,
enough to give you some warning. So down the road, you can keep it in your mind. It's like, wait a minute. Everybody's telling me to go do this and do that, and it's easier and better. Maybe I should just stay the way I've been going.
right.
If that way is morally and right, whatever that is, then just keep going down that path. Don't always take what looks the easiest or the best. Sometimes, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's hard.
Anytime you jump out of the boat, you jump out of the car, you jump out, there's going to be a consequence to jumping off anything.
And I can see, too, like...
Unless you can fly like me.
He's like, the boat's on fire, what am I supposed to do? Jump. Oh, yeah, duh, who wouldn't? But at the same time, you are in water.
I mean,
I don't know.
happens.
And then, spiritually speaking, fire does mean damnation and water means salvation, so I could see where you'd want to jump in the water.
But the water also turned to gunk.
He said oil or something.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So
that large hand, that is...
Right. Someone was pulling him, tell him stay in the boat. Just
and
listen.
that's
he didn't say
pretty
it was
cool.
scary, hand, a skeleton, and he said a hand. But if, and always go with your instincts with dreams. So if you wake up and you feel good, then it was probably good. You wouldn't assumed it was bad. Or if you feel something wasn't right, that was off. But I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't. It's like, no, go with that feeling, that instinct. Because spiritually, you will sense where that dream came from. So, okay, here's another one. This is from Miss LL. I just woke up from a nap frightened. Me and my ex were in my home when a black crow flew to the window. In my home is a very large window and very tall. The crow hovered in front of the window, then flew to the top and came inside the house through the window at the top because it was open. It sat there, and my ex grabbed something to hit that bird, and it flew and dove towards me from behind the curtain. I woke immediately. So what do you think about that one?
I think she's screwed.
No.
No.
That's screwed. The other guy's like on a boat with fire. You don't think he's screwed.
Miss LL, you were actually also part of our meal. The way I seen this was that she's got a big vision. There's a big window. Things seem to be okay. You can see what's going on. You think you got your eyes and ears on everything that's going on. But there's a way in. The black crow is not a good thing, usually.
Yeah, it represents something
And there was a way in to...
For something bad to come in.
Your life, your world, your home, whatever. There was... Now, I also wonder... I never really thought about my ex was in my home. Is that a really bad thing with your ex? Or is it a good thing? You guys okay? So
or was he not your ex when he was in a dream? Like, I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
Ex
So
now.
why? Sometimes people are in dreams. We don't know why, but there's usually a reason. And he says he tried to hit the bird, but the bird flew towards her.
And dove.
And
dove.
dove.
I keep saying dove. Dove.
So the crow coming at her, all that. There's ways in. There's something that's not protected or not right.
Shut
not
your
safe.
windows. Don't rely on your ex to solve your problems. That's it. But yeah, something is letting something bad into your life, and
you think you got your eyes and your visual on everything. That's why you have this huge window. You're like, I can see what's going on. I'm okay. Everything's fine. I got a visual. Oh, wait. There was a crack in my foundation. There was an opening in my life. There was something I was allowing into my home, into my family. Something. There was a way in, and it can get to me, and it doesn't look like what you think might have been some protection for you with maybe the ex trying to get it for you. It was still coming after you. So it's a bit of a warning right there. You're doomed.
Okay, here's another audio.
I have to say that I have really weird dreams. I have to admit that. I have some of the strangest dreams of anybody that I know. But I was laying there asleep one night, and I kept feeling like something was staring at me, and I don't know why. It was like waking me up is how I felt. I felt like I was waking up because I felt like something was close to me or staring at me or something. And finally, I opened my eyes, and I seen a face just right next to my bed, right in my face. And I can't explain to you what the face was. I felt like it was male, but it wasn't necessarily overly humanized. It was more demon, or just something that I had not seen before. And I don't have a lot of detail because it was pitch black. I had just opened my eyes. And the minute I opened my eyes and I seen that, I shut my eyes again and I jolted upward. And by the time I did that, it was gone. All I know is that I never want that to happen again. And I would be interested in hearing you guys, or hearing your guys' stories on stuff that you may have experienced that would be similar, or what you think it could be.
Well, I don't even think this was a dream. I think that she was it was between dream state and something that really physically, like a spiritual encounter.
And she was woken up.
And
which actually was a protection.
Yeah. When
she was woken up to that, but still the idea of being woke up actually made it dissipate.
And, the thing is, too, is she actually had another one, too, about at another time where this dark mass or whatever, actually came at her and it jolted her back. She wasn't sure if she felt the force of it or if it was just her jolting back. But so I think she's experiencing some kind of physical dark manifestation, and that dream state. Yeah, she was, like you said, woken up, protected, and it was real. I don't think it was a dream. And you got, like I said, you got to follow your instincts. She said she felt it was like a demon and it was male, and that's I think. And
no, she felt. She made it quite clear she couldn't see it.
Right.
So, but the feeling was enough to know that whatever this is, it's demonic or really bad.
Yeah.
It's male, which showed a very strong presence. So how would you know that in the dark? Well, this is where you're going between one realm and another, and
that spiritual sense is so heightened at that time.
So I guess you have to. You're saying, why would this happen, or what should you do with it? Well, you have to start thinking about your life, your beliefs, what you're doing, what you're practicing, what's been practiced, whatever, and
who you're letting into your house,
right? So
things you're watching, listening to.
There's always reasons for everything, and sometimes people are given little things like this to help wake them up or move them into a different position in their life. And
different
say,
spiritual aspect of your life to, prayer at night for protection is important for everybody, whether you experience something or not, because just because you don't doesn't mean you won't, and just because something bad hasn't happened to you doesn't mean it won't. So prayer is always important for protection. All right, here's another email. I used to have this friend, and we've since grown apart. When we were still talking a lot, I had this really, really messed up dream about her. She was walking home from school. It was a bright sunny day, and there were other kids around talking about normal high school things. She was walking by these old-fashioned iron fences with spiked tops. Just before them, there was this red fire hydrant. As my friend walked by the fire hydrant, exploded right next to her and knocked her back into the fence, where she was impaled and died. Impaled, not impaled. Yeah. It was off-putting enough that I sent her a text the second I found my phone to avoid the fire hydrant for the day, if there was any on her way home from school. There were, and one of them was by an iron fence. She sent me a text later that day that one exploded, and if I'd not mentioned it, she would have been right next to it when it did. I mean,
this is a great dream.
Yeah.
Because this was a little more of a dream. You were used as a tool to protect your friend.
That's awesome.
So sometimes, God can speak to all of us, but not all of us can hear.
And we can call them dreams, but really it was a supernatural message.
It was a message.
Vision,
you were used as a tool to warn your friend because, God knows who can hear and understand and who cannot hear and understand. This is why a lot of things will happen in dreams that can't happen in the wake state. You can be given messages, thoughts, ideas. I remember as a kid just growing up, I was just one of those people that if I couldn't figure out something in school, a math problem or something, it would bug me, and I would go to bed, and I can't tell you how many times I woke up with the answer.
That's
Because I would relax, I'd stop my
Stressing,
thinking
yeah.
and allow myself to calm down in my sleep, and I would wake up going, oh, all I need to do is this, I get the answer. Sure enough, I actually get up in my pajamas yet and go up there and figure out the answer. Don't ask me why I was that way. I was. But anyways, and here's the same thing. Now, it'd have been nice, well, not nice, but God does things sometimes in multiple ways. So here you were actually used as a tool by God in a positive way. Now you're saying, well, why didn't God just go tell her? Well, how much better for God to use you to then tell her, because now God has used, killed one bird with two stones.
Because she wouldn't have
or
expected
two-
that
or-
from
yeah,
her
two-
friend, because she lost
killed
two birds with one stone.
Yeah, that's it. But anyways, to say, now look, you've been used, and now we're telling you've been used by God to actually help somebody else, your friend.
And when God uses you once, he'll use you again if you're open to it.
If you're open to it and you start listening and you start putting yourself up, you'll begin used again. And what a great thing to think of that you, because you listened and did something, because God says, I know that if I give her this message in a dream, she's going to do something, because he knows the beginning and he knows the end. He knew to use you, that you would email, and that she would listen. Now, if he would have gave her the dream, she may have not thought anything of it.
And died. Yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
God says, no, I know who's going to do this job for me, and this is who I'm picking, because I know that she'll do it, and I know that her friend will listen to her.
God always picks the oddest person.
Yep.
Someone you wouldn't think, wouldn't consider, someone you haven't talked
What are
to.
the chances of fire hydrants exploding? This is not normal.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen one explode before in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And then get impaled? This is like one of those 100 ways to die thing or whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you know what? If I were you, I would pray and ask God to continue to use you, because knowing that you can save someone's life. Like, I know a lot of people that we counsel a lot of people, and a lot of people I talk to, a good portion
I'm
of
a
them.
great counselor.
Oh, yeah. A lot of them say, I hate having these dreams because I dream of people dying. I dream of these terrible things. It's a curse. And my advice to them is that it's actually a blessing, because you're being used to prevent these things. Pray about it. Ask God to protect them. Stop these things from happening, because you may be the only person to pray for that person.
Wasn't the movie Ghost? The movie Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
Way back then. And she started getting all these crazy thoughts and dreams,
Yeah.
and all this stuff was going on. And there was no control. It was driving her nuts.
Yeah.
Because she didn't do anything about it. Once she started doing something about it and actually
good
doing
point.
what she was told to go do, then things actually leveled out for her a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, now you're doing, I know it's a movie and all that. And
Oda May.
whatever. But there's always messages sometimes in these movies. So once she started doing what she was supposed to do, there was a level of calmity about the whole thing and stuff, and then positiveness and a finish.
And that happened to me too.
Yeah. So
same thing.
It's and you can be driven nuts. There's been times, I know that there's been a couple times in church where I just got an idea, a thought in my head, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I just need to do what I'm doing. And then this stupid thing is in my head again. I'm like, oh, man, okay, whatever. And suddenly it's like, okay, I just need to go do this thing. And I just go do this thing or say this thing to this person or individual, and suddenly I just feel, not only the Holy Ghost, but I just feel
Relief.
whew,
Yeah.
I'm glad I did that, because I know that I was supposed to.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the simplest thing. I think it was last week. I was in there. There happened to be a gang member that had came into the church through somebody else I knew, and he was there. I don't know the guy, never met the guy, and all I know is God was sending me a message just to go up there and tell him I hope you come again. Not a whole big spiel, not a whole big nothing. I just went up to him, introduced myself. I says, I really hope you come back here next week.
And then you felt better after you did it?
And that's all I did. But the look on this guy's face, and this guy's got a rough-looking face. I mean, he's been through some junk. You can see the scars, everything else. This is not, just little, I joined a gang. This guy's, looking bad. And I could see the look on his face he was most pleased with what I had to say. And that's all I said.
Because it was like God speaking to him in a way.
Right.
Maybe
I was
sensed
being
it.
used. God always uses people to do his work. Always.
Yeah.
That's how he works.
Okay, last one. I have a lot of dreams, but this one stands out to this day. Back when I was 10, I had this recurring dream about being stuck in a version of the Roman Colosseum. The stands were packed full of demons and monsters and cloaked figures. In the center, rising up from the sand, was this thing. I was expected to fight it with nothing but my bare hands in the sand in the Colosseum. It was pale, gray, gangly, with really short, deformed legs and arms. Its head was very bulbous, and its eyes were so void of emotion. It had weird insect-like wings on its back, and it floated towards me in a way that just made my skin crawl. There was this overwhelming foreboding throughout the entire dream that if it touched me, I was dead. And each time I had the dream, it got a little closer. That's creepy.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, it speaks for itself. I mean, it's a demon that she's fighting. To me, it sounds like she's being prepped for spiritual warfare. Because all the demons in the Colosseum, or maybe she's in a place where she's surrounded by evil.
The Colosseum in general is not a good thing.
Because
all of
obviously
its
we know
history. We all know what went on there.
Fighting death.
I mean, they all like to make it look nice in the movies, but it was just a place of death,
blood,
and it keeps getting closer each time. So, I guess I don't have a really good answer for this, other than you say
that I just think she's being prepped for spiritual warfare.
And my thought is there something going on in her life? Is there something she's doing, something she's practicing that she's in a battle ring, and there's things going on, and if something doesn't change or she doesn't defeat this demon with her own bare hands or
how everybody
whatever.
Says everybody has their own demons
right.
thing? Okay.
If you don't learn to fight this and fight it off or whatever, it's going to keep closing. It's going to be victorious.
Oh, I think that's more accurate than mine.
And that's this particular dream for me was a little disturbing because I'm like, ew.
Dude, that's a terrible
dream. Yeah, it's yuck. And I don't want to be freaking the individual out that happens to be...
Well, actually, they said they had it when they were 10.
10,
so it's quite a while
maybe
ago.
Maybe they're only like 11 now.
That's true.
But so, I mean, I don't know. A lot of times it's gone by. I mean, and maybe throughout your life you can look at a situation or something. You can say, yeah, I fought that situation. I got it. Maybe, let's just throw something out there just for kicks. Let's say maybe it was a drug thing. There's a lot of people like that now.
Yeah.
Have drug issues and drug problems. And say, there's that demon. And that demon kept getting closer and closer and closer and closer. It was very ugly. And,
like it represents something.
And there was everything around there. And but maybe you were able to fight that demon off finally with your bare hands or your own will or whatever like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, not good. But hopefully the dream stopped and you beat him up.
Okay, well, I guess in short, all dreams mean something. God is using your mind, your heart, your body, your soul to tell you something. The Bible tells us that God uses dreams to communicate with us, to protect us, to sway our mistakes. And the enemy of our soul uses them to deceive us and to lure us, to mislead us, confuse us, frighten us, and misinform others.
Scripture clearly tells us what God does with dreams. For God speaks again and again through people, though people do not recognize it. He speaks in dreams, in visions of the night. With deep sleep falls on people as they lie in their beds. He whispers in their ears and terrifies them with warnings. He makes them turn from doing wrong. He keeps them from pride. He protects them from the grave, from crossing over the river of death. That's in Job 33, 14 through 18.
So God uses our dreams to protect us, to
He does,
speak to us,
warn
to help us.
And I know it's happened for me a few times where I've had thoughts and ideas and dreams and stuff. So
yeah, okay. Well,
yeah.
We're coming to a close, so you know what that means? You do, don't you?
Yeah.
Right about now, you're about to be possessed. Rock. Hit it.
I have what rocks tonight.
Rock and reject segment, baby.
Really, I found a great disturbance in the force. It is called Canhead. There's a guy in Chicago. His name, Marcus LeShock, whose head is like a magnet and items stick to it. So he shaved his head one summer because of the hot temperatures. And he was at a baseball game, and there was a home run. He stood up to catch it. He missed the ball. But when he sat back down, there was like, where's my drink? All of his friends were laughing. The can was stuck to the back of his head. Doctors say he has an abnormally high body temperature of about 100, and it makes his head like a suction cup, and items stick to it. Tons of items stick to his skins, cans, water bottles, jars of peanuts, cell phones. He's going to be in the Guinness Book of World Records, too.
Can you imagine that? Wait, where's my drink? And everybody's laughing. It's stuck to your head. I mean, that would freak me out.
Yeah, this is, and some of these things don't sound like light items. It's not like I had a pencil sticking to me. It's like, what do you mean you had a jar of peanuts? A cell phone? That's pretty heavy item to stick to you.
It's like hands-on, hands-off calling.
Yeah, we're not talking about just a sweaty, sticky like he has, but it's like stuck to you. I don't know.
I'm putting a picture of him.
I'm not sure how that all works with the body temperature. I don't know how that all works.
On our Facebook page, I'm putting the picture up. It's funny, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's making money off this now, and it's hilarious. Okay.
I guess he's got like a magnetic personality.
Oh, God. What of? Okay, my total reject tonight is this story about reality star Tila Tequila. And a lot of people probably don't even know who she is if they don't watch these shows. But she's obviously a reality star and who knows what. She's been begging for money to pay her rent online. She was on a show called Celebrity Big Brother, and she was kicked off the show where she was revealed that she's a Nazi sympathizer and claims to be Adolf Hitler reincarnated. So,
here's some money.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay. So, this Jew-hating New Age thing is the reject number 1. Reject number 2 is that she went on crowdfunding site, put up pics of her and her daughter, for sympathy, and asked people to give her money so that she could buy furniture for her new place. That is, like, so tacky, like cyber will work for food kind of thing. And it's like a sign but without will work. And if that's not ridiculous enough, reject number 3, get this. Just after 6 days, she passed her goal of over $2,500. That's what she was asking for. She got over $3,000. And there's people just as stupid as she is.
Yeah.
Oh, so she wrote in her campaign that they've raised my rent in my old home to $4,500 a month. And being a single mother without any support from the father, it can sometimes be very tough to take care of 2 people with only 1 person income. And I'm thinking, yeah, you and half of society.
$4,500 a month.
Welcome to the real world. I don't feel sorry for anyone who flaunts their boobs and exploits their baby and can pay $4,000 for rent. So that's total reject. She says, I have zero pride or ego when it comes to taking care of my daughter because this is what real good mothers do. And you obviously have zero work ethics, and a real good mother gets a real job.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, wow.
So that's my reject.
Yeah. Well, until next week, we wish you vision with precision. Sweet dreams without the screams.
Hey, this is Heidi from Talk Supernatural. You know I like to talk, so let's keep the confab hot. Follow us on Twitter at TSR Parapod. And check out our Facebook page, Talk Supernatural Podcast. We air for you, so hit us back. We'd love to hear what you think of the show, too, so email us, talksupernatural@gmail.com, and we'll give you a shout-out on air.
Check out more from Talk Supernatural Radio. Head over to tsradio.net. You can listen to TSR on iTunes, Spreaker, TuneIn, and YouTube. If you have any questions or would like to know more on spiritual afflictions, hauntings, demonic influence, check out Scott and Heidi's SWAT resource site at EPH612SWAT.com.
This world's a tortured place to be. So many things to torment me. And as I stumble down this road, it takes a toll. I need an intervention. But I can see it coming. Some things just can't be explained.
And that's all, folks.